You're listening to Fast Facts, Ask the Expert with Tom Viola. Listeners, welcome into Fast Facts, Ask the Expert, joined today by Tom Viola. Tom, thanks for being here.
Andrew, always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
We got a weird one. Look, listeners, if I'm being perfectly honest, I don't know if I said this in one of the first episodes, but all I did was go Google the top 20 illicit drugs. And I said, Tom, let's talk about drugs. And one of these ones, I just don't, so we're going to talk today about spice and K2. The only reference I have for K2, I believe hikers do it. Isn't it like Nepal, somewhere where K2 is? I have no clue what we're getting ourselves into. Tom, fill us in with what we're doing.
No, you're very astute, my friend. The first versions of K2 would indeed got their name that way, at least if you believe the urban legend about K2. Exactly. Pat yourself on the back for that one, Andrew. But we've come a long way. I think the one thing listeners have to realize about spice and K2 is that they're often referred to collectively as synthetic marijuana. But there's nothing synthetic about marijuana, and this isn't marijuana. So that's the greatest discovery, is that all K2 and spice and herbal incense and all these other things that people call them have nothing to do with marijuana. Basically, it's a bunch of leafy material that's been sprayed with a psychoactive substance, a psychoactive compound, of which you don't know, what it is, or a synthetic cannabinoid, which again would lead you back to thinking it's some sort of synthetic marijuana. But these are cannabinoids that have been, again, made synthetically. They're called cannabinoids, but they may not really resemble anything derived from the cannabis plant. So why K2 and spice, get so much publicity is because you may remember somewhat recently about, I think it's 50 people in Connecticut all did spice or K2 and sort of, lost their minds and had some kind of psychotic episode. And then, of course, there's always the level of submanship. So there's K2, but no, I do K3, and there's K4, and I'm not even sure where K we're up to at this point. So all of this means that we don't know what's in K2 or spice. And much like we talked about before with the bath salts, that's the allure. I don't know what I'm going to get. You told me this stuff is K2, you told me this stuff is spice, but every time I've used K2 or spice, I get a different outcome, a different result, a different experience, a different feeling. And so that's what attracts me to it. Like every time I do it, I'm going to get something different. So it's not boring. It's not humdrum. It's, wow, what's going to be my experience this time? But it has no real bearing on marijuana. It has no real, connection with marijuana. And here's the scary part for people like me and you, as clinicians, we kind of look at this from the outside and say, wow, why would you do that? I don't know what the substance is. Like, I have no idea. It could be any psychoactive substance. It could be PCP, it could be LSD, could be various compounds that I'm not even sure have a name. Why would I want to take that chance? And think about the person who's creating this synthetic marijuana for you. A lot of times you buy it in a little packet. It's leafy material that's been sprayed with stuff. So what's the leafy material? I don't know, but you're combusting it and you're sticking it in your lungs. What's the psychoactive substance? I don't know, but you're putting it in your bloodstream and it's getting to your brain. How do I know that's not going to cause permanent issues like a seizure or, paralysis or respiratory depression to the point where, I stop breathing? I have no idea.
You said that a couple of times where people like, that's the allure when you have no idea what's coming. My type A personality part of me is just like, that sounds like it's the worst. I take the medication that my doctor prescribed to me because I know exactly what it's going to do to me, how it's going to make me, how it's going to affect me, how I'm going to feel afterwards. I know what I'm getting myself into. I'm purchasing this drug from my doctor, because I know what it's going to do.
Yep.
This hodgepodge just going all over the place, or that does not sound anything like something I would want to do. But
what's mind-blowing for me, just to finish the thought, Andrew, is that, there are people who tell me, I would never swallow a Lipitor. Big Pharma's out to get me. I'm not taking one of those pills. I know what it's like. And then the same person would say, well, let me try some K2 and spice and see what that does for me. Well, wait a minute. Prescription drugs are certified to be effective. And what you're taking, you bought from your friend Joe. Like, I don't know how to address that. So.
And who knows where Joe got it from,
exactly.
Right? Like, that's the thing. It's like Joe's friend.
Yeah. Is Joe high on quality control or just high? I don't know. I
exactly.
want to.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is like the best way to wrap up this series. Listeners, we got more coming. This isn't the end of it, but this has been so much fun. Tom, if someone wanted to reach out to you, if they have a specific drug they want us to talk about on a future episode, how might they find you?
Anytime, yeah. At my website at tomviola.com, they could send me a message, or my email is tom@tomviola.com because I'm very original that way, or anywhere on social media at Pharmacology Declassified.
Tom, thanks for being here.
Thank you, buddy. Take care.
All right, listeners, that is our show for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to reach out to all of our guests. Give us a follow on social media. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you have a minute, head over to our website and sign up for our newsletter. All right, we'll see you on the next one. This has been a production of Endeavor Business Media, a division of Endeavor B2B.